I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. How is everybody doing today? We are coming on live today, and we're going to talk about an interesting subject that I found. Whoops. You don't want to hear me double, I promise you. But we're going to talk about, is this the backbone of our well-being? And that is having interaction, having social interaction. Is that the kind of the backbone of our mental health, our physical health? Is that the support and that backbone that we need? Now, as people are coming in and those notifications going out to YouTube universe, right? Hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out why this won't. Okay, you're not going to do it the way I want you to do it. So, hold on a second, guys. Everybody come on in. The article that I have, for some reason, is not letting me do it the way I want to do it. So this all started out, you're going to see on the very top of our okay, for some reason it is not liking this. I don't know why. So hold on a second while I get this article to do what I want it to do while people are coming in. Anyway, you're going to see on the top of our article, I got article in my head, right? The top of our thing. I don't know why that's not working. I may have to pull out my okay, for some reason it's not liking it. I do not know why. I may have to pull out the Chromebook. That's weird. Anyway, to get back to what I was saying. Hi Diane, how are you? Hi Lydia, how are you doing? We have started something new. Well, I was trying to figure out. I'm gonna have to go grab my Chromebook because apparently I can't view the article any other way. So on the very top, you're going to see a pinned comment. Okay. That pinned comment is called crocheting connection because that's what we're doing here. We're crocheting connection. No real crochet needed, no crochet hook, because we're doing what our mission statement is. And this is what our mission statement is, right? Let's crochet connection as we create a beautiful tapestry worn from threads of love and support. No crochet hook required. With that being said, when we do a live in this format from now on, it won't be everyone. I'm not going to carry the list with me. I found an article and that kind of stirred up a little bit. Excuse me. Today, of looking at this topic and just coming on in the spur of the moment, right? Today, is that the importance of what connection really has in our lives and how important it is. And is it really the backbone? And I found this article that I seem to can only pull up on my Chromebook for some reason. It was talking about it. The thing about it is that the questions that you're going to see now pinned up to the top, when we're doing a live stream here, right? In this format where we're doing topics and we're having a discussion, we're going to have a pinned comment on the top. I would encourage you to answer that. I'm going to let you know what my answer to it is. Now, I found an article that had 99 different questions on it. So if we do a live stream a couple times a week, it's going to take us quite a while to get through all those 99 questions. I may choose to skip over a little bit of the questions here and there, just because I may not want to get into a subject here or there, but for the most part, they were pretty easy, simple questions, but they were questions to start conversation, start the connection process. And so we're going to put a question pinned up to the top. So when you come in, look from now on at that pinned comment and look what the question of the day is. We're going to call it a CC. What is your crochet connection answer to the question that's pinned up to the top? And today's question is, what scent do you find the most soothing? Well, because I kind of deal with allergies and I have to be careful what scents I use. I can't use a lot of different scents, right? My favorite will always be vanilla. That is one that is safe for me to use and smell, and I absolutely love that. Diane says, I love the smell of violets. It reminds me of my grandmother. If you hear Mocha barking, Mom and Josh are off to the store, and I'm in a lot of pain today, guys, so I'm really taking it easy. And Mocha has to go in her crate when she's not watched because she can get herself in a little bit of trouble. But I love that Diane says that violets remind her of her grandmother. For me, vanilla is something that reminds me it's just a really comforting smell. And for somebody that struggles with perfumes and stuff, I can't tolerate much. The only one that I can really tolerate is White Shoulders. It's a very old one. So when I smell that, I think of my grandmother. I don't really use a lot of perfume anymore. I have to be careful of like the scents that comes in shampoos and all that, because that can easily trigger a migraine. But vanilla for me is safe and it's very soothing and it's something I enjoy smelling, and it is one of my favorites. But I love that, Diane. That's wonderful. So before we get into this article that I actually have to go over to my Chromebook and get, because for some reason I can't pull it up any other way, we're going to gift memberships. We do that on the second and fourth Wednesday. Second and fourth Thursday of every, or second and fourth week of every month. I went to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning, and so I'm just really tired. I'd like to go to sleep at a normal time, and I don't quite know what that normal time is anymore. And it's just the way it's going to be for a while till back into the pattern, right? But I want to do the other gifted 5 memberships for this month. And those are going to Michael's Adventures, Elena, Wolf, Nancy Smith, and Puca Vista. Those are the ones that are receiving the gifted memberships. As a content creator, YouTube allows us to give 5 memberships out a month. Hi, Mach. How are you? Hi, Sophia. Sandalwood. I love that. It's my dad's and my favorite smells. What I think this is going to do is it's going to have you all start to get to know each other. Because see, like, I wouldn't have known that about Diana. I wouldn't have known that about Sophia. You may not have known that my favorite one is vanilla. So I think by doing that, we're going to start to understand a little bit more about each other. So I figured that kind of sparked these when I saw these 99 questions. So I was just looking for, interesting topics. And this came up and I'm thinking, well, it'll take us a while to get through 99 questions, right? And we'll probably always do that. We will pin a crochet connection question on the very top. And when you come in, answer it. This allows people to get to know you a little bit better. We did this in our Bible study at church. We started asking questions about people and they would go around. What we found out is we kind of stopped doing that a little bit. But while we were doing that, you know what happened? People that did not talk actually opened up and talked. It was really cool to see them talk. Those that were kind of quiet and shy, when we asked simple things like, what is your favorite hobby? What is this? What's that? What's your favorite field trip? What's your favorite vacation you ever went on? These people that were kind of these quiet individuals actually started to open up a little bit when you started prompting them with questions. And I really do think that we have forgotten and to some degree how to connect with each other and how to have those interactions happen. So give me just a second while I go over and get the Chromebook and get this article that for some reason doesn't want to pop up any other way. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm in my comfy clothes today and comfy pashmina because everything's really, really sore. So we got to do it this way because I can't get it to come up any other way. Funny enough, we discovered it randomly about each other. Hold on. Working with 2 different mices. About each other. I got something sandalwood, and he was like, "Can you pick that up for me, please?" That's awesome. So it was by total random and accident. That's cool. So cool. This article was really good because I like the fact that it said, right, that conversation, okay, can become a backbone to I know, dead air, and I'm sorry, guys. That it is, I loved this statement. The backbone of our well-being, okay, is social interaction and its benefits. Do we understand the power of that statement alone? The backbone of our social well-being is social interaction and its benefits. I never thought of it that way, right? That it really does become the backbone of what our interaction is and what our social interaction is, right? I also loved this, and this was done by Desmond Toot. I think that's how the name is said, right? We shrivel when we're not able to interact. We depend on the other in order to use. We depend on other in order for us to be fully who we are, right? My family was dysfunctional. My grandmother was a safe connection. That's awesome. What a precious thing. Boy, do we need more grandmothers. They're awesome people. I had 2 very dysfunctional grandmothers, and I had one that I kind of made my grandmother, and she was awesome, and I'm really glad I had her. But listen to that statement again, this quote. We shrivel when we are not able to interact. We depend on the other in order for us to be fully who we are. Understand the impact of that. We shrivel, right? We hide in the corner and we go, no, right? We shrivel when we don't have that interaction. It's that important to our mental and physical well-being. So positive experiences in relationships with people in our close circles are associated with better physical, according to a study in 2023. Indeed, the recent decades, an increasing number of studies are confirmed that an overwhelming impact of relationships on our well-being. Okay, researchers have shown, for example, that marriage reduces the incidence of depression, both in men and women. This is just from this article. With divorce is associated with an increase in depression symptoms, with their prevalence remaining high for many years after the dissolution of the marriage. Further studies have shown the individuals who have lost their life partners have a 20% risk of developing dementia. And this was a case, in the cases of unmarried individuals, the risk was 42% higher. Friendships and relationships. I thought this was fascinating when I read this, right? Friendships and relationship increase the chances of survival by 50%. We're not talking about just a little significant thing, right? 50% increases it, right? That's huge. Okay, and that research was done by Brigham Young University, found who monitored over 300,000 people for 7 years. I thought this was fascinating. Okay. The study showed the lack of social interaction has the same negative effects as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I read this article, I was like, oh my gosh. I love that it was talking about social interaction being the social background or the social backbone of somebody. You may be able to see me better now. I'm realizing something's wrong. I don't have my lights on. But do we realize that the study showed that the lack of social interaction has the same negative effects as 15 cigarettes a day? I think that's what my aunt smoked in half her day towards the end of her life. I mean, that's a huge thing. And guess what? The rate of cigarettes and the cost of cigarettes, social interaction is a heck of a lot cheaper. I can tell you that. We have a cafe with a Kignata. I don't know if I can say that right. Kignatisk in town, essentially a big table for everyone where the concept is to chat with each other. It makes the weirdest connections sometimes. That sounds awesome, though. I'd love that. I would be there, like with my crochet hook, interacting with people. I'd love that. That would be like, boy, a cup of coffee. Boy, I'm all in. I think those should be a lot of places, really. It is more harmful than a sedative behavior. Twice as harmful as obesity. Those are pretty stagnant numbers. You've got one saying it is more, having lack of social interaction is more harmful, or less, having lack of it is that smoking is 15 cigarettes a day is worse. Having a sedative lifestyle or behavior and harmful as obesity. So we have to think of those numbers, right? And realize the impact of having the lack of social interaction. We were not supposed to be isolated creatures. We weren't designed for that. We were designed for social interaction. And I thought that was just fascinating when I read it. I'll have to look at this book, but the book is Love and Survival with Dr. Dean Amish, multiple of scientific evidence in the favor of healing a role of love, concluding that he knows no other factor in medicine, no diet, no smoking, no exercise, stress, genetics, drugs, or surgery, that has such a major impact on the quality of life, incident of illness, and premature death of all causes. So it's saying here, right, and all these other things, right, that medicine has one thing it's missing, and that is having that connection. It is that powerful, right? And so I will try to put this article in the thing and see if you all can pull it up. I don't know why it wasn't going to let me pull it up. Tasman was part of a resistance movement during the apartheid regime, so he was all about connection. That's fascinating. I'll have to look him up. Diane, it's a great coffee, great pastries, and great people and winning combination. Yep, I'm coming. Sophia, I'll be there with the crochet hook happening, right? The interaction that makes us happier. It does make us happier, right? So from nearly 3 decades, and guys, for those that don't understand, I do have a learning disability. This is not easy for me to do. If I'm stumbling over words, I do my best when it comes to reading, but not my favorite thing. But I know you all love me, and I'm so thankful. So, again, I will put this article in the thing, and hopefully you all can pull it up because I wasn't able to on anything. For nearly 3 decades, researchers believe that the core discussion network, a concept used to study social support networks, referring to the group of people for whom an individual discusses important topics, consist of very close individuals. However, the study published in 2013 found that almost 45% of the network of people with whom we have important discussions is made up of individuals outside our intimate circle, right? Doctors, colleagues, spiritual leaders, whom we turn to because they are well informed of the topics of interest to us, or because they are available. If you are going through a difficult situation, hi Wolf, how are you? You got a membership today. Content creators get to give 10 away a month, and we do that the second and fourth week of the month, and you were one of them today. If we realize that when we are going through a difficult situation, and I totally get what they're saying about that, right? If we're going through a difficult situation, we are better off to go to a friend or someone else outside of the inner circle, right? I have really, really gone to people outside of my circle right now. And I've said some things about my aunt's passing that I may not say to my husband. I may not say to my mom. If I say anything about Patty right now, we're all starting to cry, right? I've said things, and somebody reached out to me yesterday, and they were going through a difficult situation, and they said, "I know, you're going through a tough time." I said, "It's okay. I'm here." And we need those people in our lives, right? To reach out to, that are not in the mix of the situation. They're not looking through the same colored eyes. They're not looking through the same glasses. They have a different perspective. We need them. So absolutely. They're there at 3:30 in the morning when I can't sleep. There's people I can call if I really need to reach out to, because I don't want to wake my husband. He's the one that when if I needed him, right, he would wake up. But if I don't want to, he's the kind of person that when he sees sunlight, he's awake. I can sleep through it, but he can't. So I don't want to wake him up. I want him to go ahead and go to sleep, and I want him to be able to sleep. So I don't want to necessarily do that. And if you all are coming in, just so people that till we get everybody on board, right? If you all are coming in, on the very top of it is a pinned comment. It's called Crochet Connection. We're going to go through a list of about 99 questions. I may not use all of the 99 questions. And every time we do a live, we're going to pin a comment. Now, if it's on the phone, I'm not going to bother doing it. But if it's like this, where we're having a topic or a conversation about something, we're going to pin a question. So when you come in, you could put CC, that's Crocheting Connection. Look at the question. Today's was, which scent do you find most soothing? Mine was vanilla. You can look back at the chat and see the other people that made comments about what their scents were and so forth. And put it in the chat. Tell us what made you, what your favorite scent is. And we're going to go through those questions and start to get to know each other, because I think that's kind of being forgotten how to do. And I'm going to put my 5 in the chat, because that candle back there, remember, we're lighting those candles in our heads. We're all here to support each other. Nobody is suffering in silence, right? Not one. We're all here to help each other through. And if you're lighting a real candle, we'll remind you at the end of the stream, hopefully, or one of my mods or somebody in the chat, blow it out. But anyway, we got our 5. We got those candles in our head lit, right? So we're here to support each other. Okay. see. Researcher Glim Standstorm, and I'm reading this article a lot because homemade cookies. That's wonderful. I love that scent, Wolf. That's awesome. I'm going to have to figure out, because I can go back and look at the comments. I'm going to have to figure out how to maybe write some of these down. I've got some ideas floating in my head for this. Some ideas are happening because I think that these are so important. I would have never known that. That's awesome. Next time I make homemade cookies, chocolate chips especially, I'm going to think of Wolf. Hi, Old Path. How are you? Welcome on in. But I'm reading this article in a lot of detail because I don't know if you guys can pull it up. I don't know why I was not able to pull it up. But researcher Glenn Standstorm decided to study the effects of interacting with people who knew very little about after realizing how good it felt to be recognized by their owner of the hot dog stand she passes by every day on her way to work, or to be asked by the owner of the pet store how her cat was doing. The fact that he remembered the cat's name was an icing on the cake. So it's kind of like going back to the next time I bake chocolate chip cookies, I'm going to think of Wolf. The next time I smell or think, I think it was Violet. Was it Violet? Did I have that right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to learn these. Don't worry. Next time I think of Sophia, I'm going to think of her smell. The sandwood. I'm going to think of that. Violets. I'm going to think of Diane. Those are things that we can start remembering. When you think of me, you're going to think she loves vanilla. Or maybe if you're into, if you go into a store and you find a bottle, if you've never smelled white shoulders, you'll go smell it and think, oh, that was what her grandmother wore. Every time I have a little thing my dad had, and every time I turn it on, I smell him. And the smell is slowly going away as I'm using it. And I'm like, or I open my mother's makeup and I smell, that her powder, and I think of her. It's very, very powerful. So it is very true. There was a lady that I had when we were coming into, what was it? She was coming into the auto mall, right? And she would sit there and she'd come in. And the minute I saw her, I sit there and she'd go, woo woo, woo woo. And she was my woo woo lady, right? Every time she come in, she had the smile on her face. She was happy. She'd come in. She goes, how you doing today? And I go, fine. And I go, woo woo. And she go, woo, for some reason. But it made me smile. And, as I got to know customers, there was another customer that was Greek. So when he would come in, I knew him and I knew his face. And I would say, hello, Tikanis, which is how are you? And he would respond a little bit back with it. My wife makes a fragrance called Barbershop. Oh, it is so good. I remember the old barbershop when I was a childhood in town. This is so fascinating. Some of these smells and that people are talking about, I would have never imagined. Would you have imagined that was something that was soothing to them? The first study coordinated by Sandstorm showed that on days when they interacted with more colleagues, students felt happier and had a stronger sense of being. Two other studies which analyzed all-day interactions, both strong relationships with close individuals and weak ties with people on various of social networks, concluded that the weak ties are associated with an increased social and emotional well-being. Additionally, individuals who interact with a server at the cafe, smiling, making Eye contact or engaging in brief conversation reported that their mood improved and they felt more socially connected. Now, that study was done, I don't know when it was done in, but I do believe that we as a society have started to, well, let me go back for a moment. We have to remember this. YouTube has changed. When I first got into YouTube in this sense back in 2023, I go on YouTube for videos. I wasn't going on YouTube for this. I wasn't going on YouTube for connection, right? I really go towards YouTube. Mainly, that's where I get a lot of my social interaction. And I think that it can be helpful, right? Today, this girl is in a very, very comfortable, soft clothing. It hurts to move. It hurts to get up. I'm tired. I fell asleep about 5:30 in the morning. My whole sleep pattern has gone out the window, and I would like for it to please come back in the window. But because of my aunt's passing about 2.5 weeks ago, my sleep pattern is totally off balance. I get in bed, I'm tired, and it's like, can I, is anything going to happen in the next next hour? And I'm looking, going, it's 2, 3, 4. And I was in a lot of pain last night, so it took me a long time to relax. So I couldn't go out today. But I knew that if I got on here and interacted with you all, even though I was hurting, I'm going to feel better. And that's going to help me. I know that devotions didn't go out yesterday because I was really tired. I was hurting. I really didn't have the energy for much of anything. And so you know what? I've decided if they don't get out till Wednesday, oh well. I'm going to take one day at a time right now. I'm still in the grief process. What seems to me like this should be 2 weeks ago. This was 2.5 weeks ago. And then it clued into me yesterday, and I was like, Mary, Sunday was 2 weeks ago. Bingo. That's why your body's hurting a lot yesterday. Your body's now in recovery mode today. So all of it was like, it was all coming together. And we have to realize that. So for me, going out to the store, even getting my shoes on, even getting all dressed and ready to go out, ain't happening today. I hurt too bad for that. It's not going to happen today. When you are dealing with fibromyalgia, right? Your muscles get really sore. The touch of clothing hurts. I don't want to go out today. So I'm having my interaction here. And it is so beneficial. I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have you all. As we've gone through this journey with Patty, the diagnosis, her trip, the hospice, losing her, I don't know where I'd be. And I don't want to find out ever. You guys are so important. That's why this channel will always be a source of connection. That's why that light will always be on. Because I want you to understand the importance of being there for each other and realizing how important that is. And I think more and more channels are doing this connection. Old Path Woodworks, I found him today in another channel, chit-chatting up with somebody. And I went and connected with his channel. It's all about making those connections. I usually hypnotize myself cooking because I love cooking with sage, lemon zest, sea salt, cinnamon. Let's just say I need a 2-day warning before somebody with an allergy enters my house. It would smell wonderful. She can put it in a candle, but it is oil-based cologne. That's great part of the internet. You can connect with people without putting real clothes on. Yep. I would love to have that candle. I will put his channel in here so you all can head over and connect with him. I don't know if he sells them, but I'm sure you could reach out to him. And we just ask that when we put people's channels in, but we just ask they come in and have some connection first, which he is doing. So I'll put his channel in. All right. There's a channel I watch, and it's a gentleman that has a father with dementia. And I think to myself, how many people is he helping? I've been there. When we were caring for my dad, hi Sunrise Dawn, how are you? We were caring for my dad. We couldn't. We were too tired to go out any place. We were just too tired. Didn't happen. Oh, I will have to look that up for sure. Dawn, do you think you can look up that page Old Path Woodworks has and put that in the chat for me? If you can, I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to Sunrise Dawn, go subscribe to her. She's awesome. And we want to get her to that 500. So, the benefits of social profile and diversifying may relate into increasing in emotional diversity. In other words, interacting with a variety of relationship partners involves experiencing more valid set of emotions, which promotes a greater well-being. So here's the thing. That's why I encourage people, right? I encourage people to come in when I'm talking about autism. Why? Because I want you to understand it. Old Pathworks, his wife's channel is the Crab Apple Cabin. I don't know if you can find it and put it in the chat for me. I think that's your code. I'd have to look. If not, I think it is. Anyway, that's why I encourage people, right, to come in when we're talking about, thank you, when we're talking about dementia, when we're talking about autism, when we're talking about topics. I say to you, come on in, be a part of the discussion. Why? Because you may run into somebody that's autistic. So if you understand what it's like for the parents, not only that, if you can understand that when you meet somebody with autism, if they're looking everybody every which way but loose, but not directly into your eyes, they are not being rude, right? At all. That's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they have a hard time. My daughter's she's adult, she's 26, she's gotten better at it, but she still has a very difficult time looking me in the eyes. Speaking of somebody, talk amongst yourselves for a second. Hold on a second. Her ears must have been burning, right? Hi, Rudy. How are you? I think that's what he said. The Crab Apple Cabin is what he said. So we'll see if we can find it. Cabin, not cottage. Okay. That's why I say to you all, come in and participate in into those conversations, because you may, if you go into a store, you may wind up with somebody that is autistic. If you can understand a little bit of their nuances, or if you have a friend that's going through um, dementia or autism, right? Then you can understand this may be it. I don't know. If you're still in here, Old Path, can you tell us if it's the cottage? This may be it. I don't know. I see what she's coming up. Let us know if this is it. If not, we will try to find it. I found it. I don't know if that one's it or not. So we will see. Because I'm not seeing anything with cabin either. So that's the one I found. But oh, it's cabin, not cottage. Well, there's another one. It is cabin. We'll see if we can find it. If we can. Yep. If we can, we'll find it. If not, we'll do the best we can. I'm sure if you get, because I don't see cabin either. I'm just seeing cottage. So we'll see what we can do. If not, connect with Old Path, and I'm sure he can connect you with his wife somehow. If you're interested in whatever candle. Maybe it's an ST thing. But there's another great channel to go check out. I didn't even know about it. Anyway, we need to figure out that we need to be a part of these topics, even if you're not going through them, because you may have a friend or a family relative dealing with it. You may come across somebody that is dealing with the situation, dementia, autism, special needs, or what have you. And if you understand it, you can have sympathy with it. I have a very special place in my heart for single mothers and mothers that are dealing with special needs, coming out of abusive situations. I was there, so I know that. I have a certain sense of understanding because I've walked through it, and I can help someone else that's going through the same situation. So it's good to be a part of it. So create with a need for social interaction. Even though incorporating these weak ties into your relationship profile often sustains benefits at a low cost, we are quite hesitant and sometimes resistant to interact with strangers. I think if we do this on YouTube, it makes it easier. Now, I'm the kind of person that never met a stranger, right? I literally can talk to anybody. Thank my dad. I literally have no problem with going to anybody in the store and interacting with them. It is something I do very easily. It's something my dad did very easily. He talked to everybody. We had to pre-warn him, when you go on the plane, does not mean that you can talk to the persons next to you ears off for the next 3 hours, right? Something he did very easily. But I think that having yourself go into chats, and we love our lurkers, we love them, but just interacting. If you come in here and say hello, I guarantee you people are going to say hello. They're going to welcome you on in, right? This helps you practice when maybe you're out in a grocery store and you meet somebody, right? And you can say, hello. You are practicing having that social interaction, right, in a safe environment. And you meet some tremendous people through that by a simple hello. Your best friend could be at a store, or like Sophia was saying, that big table where they all sit down and interact and talk with each other. You may find friendships that last a lifetime through that. But if you're somebody that goes, no, I'm just going to go hide in the corner and just pretend I don't exist, that doesn't do you well. And it doesn't help your mental and physical well-being. So, pull back a little bit and say, I can do that here safely. And I'm telling you, I have met some tremendous people through this. People that I now call sisters and brothers, literally, because they've just come beside me, right? Three boys who have autism. I have a fairly simple view of the world in the same way. Everyone different, and therefore we should look at the person itself without defining them by some part of themselves. Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it. My mom always tells me I could talk to a tree. Not sure what that means. My dad, I think, could talk to a tree. But I think it's important to realize that. Where was I? Nicholas, and I'm going to try to pronounce the last name, and Julian, experts in studying behavior, asked commuters to talk to other passengers in public transportation. As they found that most were reluctant, their underestimated strangers' desires to engage in conversation and believe that their interaction would not be positive. It was surprising to them that they discovered the risk of rejection was almost non-existent, and that the satisfaction gained from the conversation was mutual. The study authors concluded that the study's authors concluded that we are not sociable enough to reap all the benefits that interactions with others are. So what are we doing? We're sitting there going, no, it's okay. I don't need to talk, right? We need to be social. It is so important, right? Nobody needs to suffer in silence. The lady that I bring 2 chickens to on a time-to-time basis, right? She says, now she's in her 70s, and she says, I've really, really had to watch. I'm the kind of person that kind of keeps everything to myself. I'm fine. I don't need anything, right? And she said, I'm starting to open up and let people know when I need something. And it wasn't this time, but I think it was the time before. And I knew she was struggling. I brought her 2 chickens. She came out of her house. She said not one word to me. But she fell into my arms crying. And I held her for a few minutes because she was going through a really rough time. And I'm like, I'm here. She says, I struggle with this so much. She's such a tower of strength in our church, but she needs to come through, right? She needs to realize the fact that the connection's there. She can call me anytime she wants and we can talk. We need to realize that we do not need to do this life by ourselves. I won't read all of it. Here's an interesting part of the article. Volunteers agreed to go without food for one day and on another day to be deprived of social interaction. With images of your favorite foods, preferred social activities presented to them at the end of the day. In both situations, hi Yadira, the same brain region was active. The substance no, wait, hold up. So what it's saying is they were presented without food for one day, no social interaction the next day, right? They were deprived of that, right? And they said their brain felt it. They'd rather have the no food and be able to social interact than vice versa. People who were forced to isolate craved social interaction similar to the way a hungry person craves food, right? I mean, I don't think we realize this, right? Emphasizing the study that confirmed that the positivity of social interaction is a basic human need. It's not a want, it's an actual need. And this is how to become more socially active, right? I think if you're in this chat right now, or you're on YouTube and you're in some of these chats that are live, you are participating in social interaction. If you're going outside, right, you're participating in social interaction in some way. When we're going into we're going by a fast food place or something, and we go in, not very often, but if we go up to the window and the cashier is smiling, I make an effort to say, thank you for smiling today. Do we spend the time to talk to the person, right? Thank you very much. It was an ST. That's why we couldn't find it on YouTube. But you may find that other channel interesting. Who knows, right? We find the other one, we take the time to make sure that we can maybe say hello to the cashier. Say hi to somebody in the store, right? Compliment somebody if you like the way that they're, I really like your shirt today. I like your earrings. You never know it. Just that simple little thing, right? That you can do. It's like we're doing today with the question. And those that are coming in, there's a pinned comment that's going to start whenever we're doing topics like this. When we're sitting in this environment, there's going to be a crochet connection question. And today it's, what scent do you find the most soothing? Mine's vanilla. So if you want to answer that, you can put that in the chat. And that just gets people to realize a little bit more about you. A higher level of happiness, a better health are within our reach if we're willing to devote a bit of our attention and energy to those who often pass by as if they were invisible. Chat with a local bistro. Strike up a conversation with your colleague. Reach out to an old acquaintance, right? How often have we felt invisible? We're going to do a movie. Yep. I always send end my stream with, if see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. I love that. I love that. But how often, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a moment. Wait, hold it. Let me go back. I just think that we don't realize the importance of it. We don't realize the importance of the value of having interaction happen in some form, in some fashion, in some way. It truly, when I saw this article, and I hope it'll pull up for you, when I saw the backbone, I thought, we have to realize that is our backbone. I just don't think we gravitated to it enough. We don't realize the power of it. We have some people that are watching that are dealing with special needs children. I know, I've been there, right? With everything will be all right if you're right. Absolutely. I like that. But, I just think there's people that, are dealing with special needs children, or they're dealing with caretaking for an older family member, right? And they just don't have the energy to go out. I know, I've been there. They're dealing with a chronic illness. They can't go out. So I love my mom and I love my husband, but I really enjoy chatting with my friends. A lot of them are here. And I'm so, so, so thankful for that. You guys surrounded me when Patty passed. I got love I felt it right through the screen. I know I'm not alone. I'm not invisible. We're going to do, I know where I was going with this. We're going to do a movie. It's one of my favorite movies, right? One of them. It's called A Time to Remember. Or no, A Walk to Remember. And it is somewhat based on a true story. And the reason I want to do it, I have to sit, and the YouTube has audiobook of the entire thing. I relate so closely to the girl in the movie. Not that I had cancer, but the fact that she felt like she was just the loner that wanted the cute guy in school to pay attention to her, wanted to be a part of the clique, wanted to be a part of the girls, wanted to have that interaction. I can relate so much to that movie. Hi, Ella. How are you? I can relate so much to that movie. Guys, if you have kids, you have got to make it a point to let them know that if you've got people that are really just kind of, they don't have a lot of friends in school. I know it may not be the cool thing. Oh, it's a beautiful movie. It may not be the cool thing, right? To have that person that's sitting alone at the lunch table to come over and sit with them. And they may get a little bit teased for it, but they will reap so many benefits. I was that kid that sat with nobody wanting to sit with me. And we have got to get to our young people and get them to understand what they can do for individuals that, they can influence. I was reminded of one of my favorite Tokon sayings today. If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarding gold, the world would be a merrier place. Absolutely. I love that. And we're going to do that movie. I saw a movie last night. Now it is more of a faith-based movie. So I will I will be doing it. I will let people know when I'm doing it, but I will be doing it. But it's more of a faith-based movie. But it was a pretty powerful movie. I probably shouldn't have tried to watch it before I went to sleep last night. I was like, goodness gracious, good. It was a great movie about it, but I love the concept of the movie, and it's based on a true story. So it may be something that we do talk about, right? 15 minutes a day set aside to connect with a friend, a relative, an acquaintance, or represent an important step in building meaningful relationships in the world where we are becoming increasingly isolated. I think that the garage door opener has been the worst invention in the world. One of them, right? How often, we can't get into our garage because there's a lot of stuff in there, but how often does the garage door open, the car goes in, we go in our house, and we have no idea who's around us, right? We don't know our neighbors. We just open the garage door and put in the car, especially if you live in cold climates. You don't want to deal with your car in the winter, so you just put it in the garage. And then we don't come out. We go right in our car in the morning. We pop open the garage. We go to work. We do our job. And we come back home. And what do? And then, of course, we got the kids. And they're in this activity and this activity. And you run into this activity. And, and we don't get to sit and social interact. We don't get to sit there and call our friend and spend 2 hours on a phone call with them. Right? We need to make time for this, even if it's just 15 minutes a day. Even a brief interaction can make us feel good for a long time because we are hardwired to connect. I love that. We are hardwired to connect. We are not hardwired to be isolated. We're hardwired to connect with each other. I think it's so powerful. When the phone rings, we pick it up. Murphy says, often we delay answering, thinking it may be convenient to send a text or to call, especially if it's someone we haven't talked to for a while. And the call catches us in the middle of an activity. Even if we have 10 seconds at hand, the act of answering the phone call, assuring the caller that we are glad to hear from them, and then rescheduling the conversation will leave us in a much better mood than if we sent a message. Christina was getting married in 2022. I had a friend of mine who was dealing with some pretty significant health issues. And I spent hours on FaceTime with her. And I said to her this, I was, towards the end of preparing for her wedding, and I had a lot to do. I was the decorator and the whole thing, and behind the scenes planner, even though she didn't realize it. Anyway, I told her, I said, listen, I love you, but I can't spend 6 or 7 hours on the phone with you and chit chat and conversate. So I turned my messenger. I would go silent, but she could see me. I was there. I was doing projects, a lot of them on the computer and so forth, and doing things and getting ready for things and so forth. So I could do all that, but I would still be able to, have that section. And she was grateful. And every once in a while, I hear her say, Mary, you still there? And I'm like, and I unmute myself and I say, I'm still here. Don't worry, I got you. She just wanted somebody. She was scared. Her mother had been removed and put into an assisted living. They had lived together for years. She was having a little bit of mental issues, and I was just there for her. Christina got married in August of 2022. She died and passed away in September of 2022. I'm really glad I was there for her, because she was there for me multiple times. She never had children, but she was a special aids teacher. So she would go off to school, give them a pet. Say hello for me if you gotta go feed the animals. She was there for me. Thank you for showing on up. Thank you everybody for showing on up on this random live today. But she was there for me in times when nobody understood what I was going through with Christina, right? And I was thankful that I could be there for her. So, you know what? Sometimes just being there. And I've told a couple of friends of mine, if you need to take the phone and put it down, all of us need our crew. Absolutely. I love that, right? Thank you, Dawn. If all you need to do is put the phone down and listen, and you need me there, it's fine. We can do it. And there's several people that know they can do that if all they need is to feel like they've got somebody. It's an important part. Volunteering is another recommendation for, not having loneliness, expanding your social network. If you want to make your comfort circle bigger, you got to step on out of it. We would not be where we are today if we hadn't stepped on out of it. There's no way. There's no way we would be where we are if we hadn't decided we needed to go in homesteading channels, fishing channels, other channels. We're all different kind of places. And we've grown because we've stepped out of the circle. We haven't put ourselves in this little circle. And if you haven't checked out Tuber Chat, that's another great channel to meet, another great channel so that you can meet other content creators. But the reason why is because we've stepped out of the circle. We've gotten benefit because people have found this channel. Not only that, we've met some tremendous people by doing that. So, you know what? Get past the name of a channel and get in the channel and learn about them. Now, if you come to our channel and you look at it and say, well, they're a channel that has a lot of videos that are devotions. Yet we do, but we really focus on crocheting connection. A lot of our lives are about subjects like this, autism, dementia, all different kind of things. We'd like to have panels. You don't have to have a channel to be a part of a panel. If you are a special needs mom and want to come on and be a part of that panel, we want to start doing panels, start bringing people in. I'd like to make it no more than 3 other people, but I want to start doing that. And we start having those kind of panels. And you do not have to have a channel to do that. It's just a part of doing it's doing 2 things. You are providing information to other people that are watching. You are also connecting with 2 or 3 other people, right? There's two things happening within that. So if it's something that you want to do, let us know. We'll put panels together like that. But volunteering is another way to expand your social circle. When our social interactions are limited, our self-esteem suffers. We believe that we are not likable or valuable enough to others. I don't have that tape running through. Every once in a while, I'll creep on in and I've said, nope, that tape don't exist anymore. But I used to have a tape that says, nobody wants to be my friend, right? Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to be my friend. Nobody wants to do this. And I don't have that tape running through my head anymore. Every once in a while, it wants to creep back. But I have to make sure that I can knock it down and break it and say, nope, I can just look at my phone, look at my message. Nope, that's not it, right? But I can tell you before I really started to have social interactions like this, I used to have that tape. And I tell you what changed it was having those social interactions. Volunteering gives us the opportunity to help those in need. And by serving is another way of helping, with ourselves as well. But also reminding us that we have something valuable to offer the world. And that's the end of that article. But I want to go back to this. And I want people to understand this, especially out of the whole article, struck me to be the most. I think we need to get this in our head, and I want to read it again. Friendships, relationships increases the chances of survival by 50%. They monitored Brigham Young University monitored over 300,000 people. The study showed the lack of social interaction has the same negative effects as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, is more harmful than sedentary behavior, and twice as harmful as obesity. I want people to really grasp onto that. When you don't think or feel like interacting, think of what that does. When you want to hide in the corner and pretend that you do not exist, think of what that does. That's a pretty powerful study and a pretty powerful fact to sit there and go, man, I really need to think about what am I doing? Am I having social interaction in my life in some form and in some fashion? Because that's a pretty powerful study that ended up saying how important social interaction is at the end of the day. There's a chat registry in some place in the Netherlands that internationally slow, so lonely people have social connection, but don't have people or cannot talk to them. That's awesome. We need stuff like that, right? We've got it right here. I used to watch a guy on self-reliant survival. His philosophy were whack and self-absorbed. I always thought he promoted doing it by himself, his way, by himself. I don't think we do anything by ourselves. I really don't. We may think. I mean, I've watched those shows where I'm like, Alaska Bush, not Alaska Bush people. Oh, the Alaska show, and there's this one lady, and she's off in the snow and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, for months, and I'm like, I would just crawl the walls. I couldn't do it. There's no way. All creatures seem to be healthier when they have a pack, a tribe, or a flock. I watched what was it? Fly Away Home yesterday. The geese travel in a flock of geese, right? They go in a pack. There's not too many that are socially isolated. We need it. It is why it is so important. But I think sometimes we forget how important it is. What it does to our own mental well-being. What it does to help us. Don't get me wrong. I love the Hobbit hole with tea, food, and good library, but even I need yeah, we all need it. There's sometimes we need our, space and we need our alone time. There's a lot of times we need that social interaction. It's why this channel is in existence. It's why it's always going to be in existence in the manner in which it is. We have to have that social interaction. It is such an important thing. Yesterday, I was in and out of chats a little bit, right? But I was tired where I didn't stay in them very long. And even when I was in the first initial part of grieving my aunt, I still was in chats a little bit. And when I couldn't handle it anymore and I needed to rest, I backed out of them. Something to think about. I've been to a few nursing homes and a few residents felt that they were too old to make friends. You're never too old. I've always met a few seniors that said that they wanted friends. I think we can find them. I think there's so much knowledge we can learn from the people that have lived longer than us. We can learn from each other. Remember what I say to you all. Be proud of being yourself because everyone else is taken, right? Everybody is different. You all are unique. You all are special. You all are important. You're important. You're important to this person here. We have to interact. And if we realize the negative effects, right, that has, it's a huge thing. It is so important. So I do not know. I need to do that. And thank you so much for showing on up. I need to do day 21. No, sorry, 23 with Mama on the devotion, and I need to do 22. But again, I'm really tired. I'm really sore, and I think I'm probably just gonna go watch a movie, and hopefully, if y'all can just say a little prayer that I can fall asleep before 5 o'clock in the morning. My new pattern is to stay awake and not be able to fall asleep ever since Patty passed. And I've also found out that that's pretty normal. But I think with the 2-week anniversary, my body was like, okay, let's just hurt a little bit more. Josh has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So I think what I'm going to do is take it easy and relax. And if I get the devotions done, all right, Don, thank you so much for stopping on in. If I get the devotions done today, then I get them done. If not, I'll get them all caught up tomorrow because I'd like to do the Monday with Mama because it was talking about leaving a legacy, and I really think it's important to do with her. So we're going to go eat dinner, and I'll let you know. I have a recipe for taco salad. However, thank you for stopping on in, Old Path. However, I found this recipe from this lady who used to be in the Amish. And I follow her, and I'll let you know if it's any good because I used to make taco salad, but she made taco salad using Thousand Island dressing, and I've never used that before. She took a tablespoon of or teaspoon of taco seasoning, Thousand Island dressing, and I think it was a teaspoon of brown sugar and mixed it all together. And that was the dressing for the taco salad. So I will let you know if it's any good. I thought I have to try this because I love taco salad. And we can't do ground beef, so we use ground turkey and so forth. I'll let you know if it's any good. That's what's for dinner because I had to try this and think, oh, I've always used Italian dressing because it's all I could find. And I thought I've got to try and see if using this ratio of Thousand Island with the thing was any good. So we'll see. We will see. And hopefully I reminded them to get Thousand Island. Otherwise I will concoct Thousand Island dressing. But anyway, so I'll let you know whether it's any good. And then I'll see how I feel in a little bit. And if I can't If I don't have the energy to do the devotions, they'll wait till tomorrow, and I'll get back on track. Hopefully very soon. I'm ready for back on track, right? So we're going to take a moment. Understand we appreciate our members. It's never expected. It is appreciated. They do help support the channel a little bit. At the very end of this is the reminder that you guys are awesome disco balls. So I want you to remember that. Remember, disco ball is a bunch of broken pieces of glass put together to make a magical ball of light. You're not broken. You're a disco ball. And at the very end of it is Elvis, of course, because our basic membership is 99 cents. And of course, we have the thank you very much membership. And we have that. So that's just thanking our members, but also it thanks all of you for just showing on up. Whether you're able to be a member or not, you being here is helping this channel grow. You supporting, watching the replay, making comments, showing up, spreading it on your social media. All of that is ways that you help this channel grow. And we tremendously appreciate it. So it's kind of for the members, but also for everybody that comes in. We thank you very much for being here. And I get to see Elvis. And we are going to do some Elvis content. Hopefully I can get some sleep. And it gives you an opportunity to just dance around for a minute.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So there we go. A little bit of Elvis. I can't dance too much today. Moving really hurts. So again, thank you so much for coming and participating. I thought this thing was very fascinating. I will put the article in the description. Maybe you'll have a better luck of getting the article than I did. But I think it's a really important topic. And it was all started with those 99 questions that we're going to start asking every time we come into a live stream. And those are those connection questions. I think they're really important. And so remember, be proud of being yourself. Everyone else is taken. We have you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. And remember, keep crocheting that connection. No crochet hook required. We'll see you on the next one sometime later this week. I'll put up a live stream. Don't know what it will be yet, but I think on Saturday we're going to try to do the live stream about the movie. If I can sit down and listen to the whole book of the Walk to Remember, we may go over that movie on Saturday. All right. So I'll see y'all then, or sometime this week we'll do another live stream and keep the connection going. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. And remember, connection is really important. It is a backbone, I think, truly, of our mental and physical well-being. Have a great night or day, wherever you're listening to. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye, Sophia. Keep the crocheting. Keep the crocheting that connection. See y'all later. Then go have some dinner. Bye-bye, everybody.
So proud.